you've immersed yourself today in so much of the social justice, environmental justice. These are things that you may have followed and been involved with, but now you've immersed yourself as like a panelist, a leader, an organizer, a person that, like, Piper Carter is a brand. Even when we were talking about your podcast, you're like, what were we going to call it? I'm like, we're going to call it the Piper Carter Podcast.
Right.
Because it's no better name, because you are a brand. You anchor so much. And this is something that now in this conversation is taking me aback. And you're my homie. Like, we haven't ever had this conversation. Like, wow, it's like you almost spark and get going with this from 5E Gallery on, where you are taking these lessons you learned at witnessing Ibn, your mother, what you saw from Mama Nnamdi, and so many others, and like kind of your own creative gumbo of all of this. Mama Ngia,
pretty much.
And spark this into such a successful institution of creativity, social justice, and also family, because a lot of the catalyst of coming back was caretaking for your mother and that relationship.
Yeah.
And while doing it, your mother also encouraged the more and more and more and more of that creativity and that social justice too.
Well, because that's who she was, and my mother would always be like, do this, do that. And, encourage everything, right along with me, all the ideas, were discussed with her, and with her blessing and with her encouragement and with her advice and support. So, when I came back, I just wanted to see the improvement. I mean, I knew the brilliance and the greatness that I left, and just to come back and to see
what it is,
what had happened, it just, I was like, we can't accept this.
So did you see yourself being in all these positions, organizing and connecting to all these organizations? Because
no, not at all.
I look at the Piper schedule sometimes. Well, I guess I look at my schedule sometimes and think, all right, how the hell I do all this?
I didn't. I mean, mostly all of that was out of survival. Mm-hmm. It's all out of survival and necessity. It's like, oh, this doesn't exist. Oh, got to create it.
Like women in hip hop, you needed you needed a night in hip hop where women could feel safe. In a safe space where they're not going to be, it's not going to be
like no groping.
No groping, no weird drunk advances, well-lit parking, and hip hop where they're not gonna be be called bitches and hoes for
hours.
Yeah, exactly, hours on end.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the space I wanted to be in, because I love hip hop. I just didn't want to be assaulted, listening to it. And so, it didn't exist. So it was like, I got to create it. So we just created it.
To a point where that became like a nationally known hip hop night. But across Detroit, it was like all the guy MCs was like, yo, I need to get in this, I need men MCs was like, yo, can I get down with this? Because it was the best hip hop night.
Yeah. It was just so much love.
And you shared the stage with some men. Like I did I ever perform? I'm sure.
You came.
Yeah, I was one of the few that was allowed there, the non-misogyny night.
Well, no, I mean, it was a lot of guys all the time, actually. It's just that no misogyny. But I think also, too, all the things that I do are inclusive. They're inclusive, and they're out of necessity. It's like, oh, this doesn't exist. I want it to exist. I'm not, what am I going to do? Just like complain, and then, just be, upset that it doesn't exist. No, just like the block club, we own our house, and, I'm upset that people keep dumping at the lot on the corner. So organize a community cleanup. There's no, grocery store that's close to me, and I need to eat fresh because I'm vegan. So I need to eat fresh food. So started growing my food. I've been wanting to grow my food, for the longest time. And, during the pandemic, it was like, okay, I'm be at the crib. So I definitely have time.
But the Piper Carter way is that way and extra on top, because you then start intersecting with so many different people because we're drawn to you and your talent, your energy, your spirit. Who are some of these people that you ended up meeting when you came back? Because you have such a wealth and depth of
well, I reconnected with people. Like I definitely reconnected with my my family and peers that were in the arts and culture world from before I left. So Lisa McCall, who was Aretha Franklin's choreographer for, I don't know, 30 years or so. We grew up together in Detroit Festival of the Arts. We danced together, studied under Clifford Fears together. And, you know, she was in ALE and Dunham and all of that. So connected with her. We had always been in touch because she had lived in New York too, but she came back here because she had her son and she wanted to have a more, you know, family support for him. But she stayed and she continues to, you know, just
Lisa's very talented,
be all over the world doing everything all the time.